Okay, I'd like to call to order the Nottingham Board of Selectmen's meeting for Monday, October 5th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Marcy, where's the manifest? Unless you...
Whoops.
Whoops.
They're in a yellow folder, but not this yellow folder. Tom, could you run back and grab the manifests? They're on the table, I think.
Thank you.
You can skip ahead and we'll catch up.
Okay. Well, we can't even discuss the minutes because we need
I made changes.
Lady.
Okay.
And we could start the BOS reports from assigned boards and committees. Jerkin, would like to go first?
By proxy, I'll ask Donna to talk about the budget committee meeting.
Yeah, that's right. God, why does this all seem like it was such a long time ago? Yep, I sat in for Mark on the budget committee. It was actually a pretty uneventful meeting. There wasn't a lot on the agenda. And it was mostly folks sharing their feedback on the session, the budget training session that they went to.
Okay.
How was that?
You know, the people who went enjoyed it, got a little bit of different, you know, every time you go, you get more of something different out of it. So I think there were about 4 people on the committee who had gone.
There's still some more signed up for another session,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep. So, yeah, it was pretty quiet. There was nothing of significance.
And the planning board
Yep.
didn't...
So planning board, we met on September 23rd.
Thank you
It
for
does
sitting
sound-
in for me, by the way.
Oh, no worries.
That does seem like a long time ago. doesn't it?
Yeah, I know. So that was the night where we had the public hearing on the subdivision regulation updates.
Yep.
There were a few questions, most of them about having, coming from the Conservation Commission and about their having an opportunity to review plans. And Paul explained that there's, you know, a sheet that they're developing that's kind of a checklist for which departments should be reviewing different plans as they come in.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Conservation Commission is on that.
But Conservation Commission is always supposed to review those plans, right?
I don't believe it's written anywhere
Okay.
specifically, but by having them on that checklist,
Okay.
they are
I'm not
automatically
sure
part of it.
we really ever had in the beginning, but we became aware of the fact that the fire department certainly should weigh in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And as we,
I just remember sitting in last year for Mary, and and there was a discussion along these lines.
yeah.
And the chair at the time, I asked the question, the chair at the time said, yes, we always take these through. The Conservation Commission has the right to weigh in on any plans.
subdivision for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, good idea.
So it's good that we're getting a checklist.
Yep, so they're on the checklist. I mean, there's,
Okay.
you know, usually at least one of them on the planning board as well.
Okay.
So then there were some minor changes that were brought up. You know, it was really just kind of like mostly corrections, spacing and wording and stuff like that. But overall, they were approved and passed 7-0.
Excellent.
Everyone in favor.
Okay.
The only other thing, there were some committee updates. They have reached out, and Chris, I don't know if you've been a part of this or not with Paul, but they've reached out to an individual whose name is Clay Mitchell to do a impact fee study.
Are they from Stratford Regional, or is this an independent person?
No, it's a new person. There was a previous person who was supposedly the expert in the area. The person who did this all the time, the go-to guy, and they hadn't been able to get a hold of him. And so I think it was Joanna who found this additional individual by the name of Clay Mitchell. So what they're gonna do is reach out to him for an estimate for conducting a study. Because the question is whether or not it's worth it for us to be collecting impact fees.
I have to agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, That's where that stands.
That money's so regulated, and so, you have to keep track of it so closely and return it if you don't use it, and it just becomes so convoluted. We wondered about that in the beginning.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I'm glad to hear that they're doing that.
Yep, so those were the two significant things from that meeting.
Okay. Well, we have the manifest now, so.
Do other towns around us charge impact fees when new builds come in?
I'm sure they do, but probably bigger towns that have more.
So you think Lee and Barrington and,
I think Barrington does. I don't know about Lee. I can certainly find out, but
it'd be interesting to know. Anyways,
Mick-
not for us to know, but for,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, as part of that,
yeah.
yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable manifest of September 28th, 2015, and the payroll manifest of September 29th, 2015.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm snoozing.
Seriously, Mary?
Oh, there's the updates.
Hard to get back in the groove. While that's being signed, can we discuss the minutes?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, I didn't,
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for September 14th as amended.
I'll second it.
hold on a second. Any changes, deletions, additions?
Just line 150, is that whole line gonna come out?
Yes,
Yep.
it's a repeat.
Okay. Does it say it exactly that way in another line?
The question marks? No.
No, does it say that, is it a four-word statement that ends with lots of question marks?
Right, so if you look down in the handout.
Okay, I see.
Line 150,
I got it, I'm with you.
Excellent. Okay, so just that one correction?
yeah.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very excellent. Moving right along. Do you want to do town reports?
all right. Let's see, this Saturday, whatever date that is, 7th? 10th. Saturday the 10th, the fire department's gonna be conducting a test burn over on Rogier. Training exercise with some neighboring departments. Rogier place will be closed, Water Street will be open. Folks over there see smoke starting mid-morning Saturday.
Don't be scared.
Hopefully that's
Where
it.
is that, Chris?
Rogier's over on North River Lake.
Okay.
There's a house that's gonna be demolished, and they offered it to the fire department to practice on, so. And then a week later is the open house at the fire department on Saturday the 17th from 10 to 2. Senator Ayotte's staff will be here in this room, I believe, on the 13th at 10:30 in the morning to help anybody, they call it office hours, just help anybody that's having trouble with the federal government, Social Security, VA,
That was 10:30?
whatever.
Do they have to be specific problems with the federal government?
No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
I'm sure they would
that
take
is-
compliments as well, but it's usually not what people come out for.
A
Chris,
compliment?
Can you just send me a 2-line blurb that I can post on
Yep.
Facebook for that?
Yep. Flu shots on the 15th here are available. We'll broadcast that as well. I am looking for somebody to shovel snow this winter.
Yeah? What happened to last year's help?
Well, he may or may not be available, I don't know, but the job's getting bigger, we're gonna do the library as well. So, somebody that hopefully lives nearby and is of strong mind and back, is interested, if you know anybody.
Of course, we could put a petition that it doesn't snow.
I like that.
Yes, where do I sign?
Yeah.
I also need a handyman. I've had a hard time finding somebody that can do a variety of small projects. I got some little woodworking, some vent work, some gutter work. If you,
It's still gonna be Eric's job when we retire.
well, if he's available for 6 or 8 hours now and you can spare him, so if you know of anybody that, well, is multi-skilled and available, I'd appreciate any referrals.
Every carpenter I know is, the ones that are left are outstrayed.
Yeah, and these are small and not glamorous jobs. It's
Yeah.
hard to, they're stacking up too. I'm trying to, but
This is
it's gonna be a pain.
future. This has been my concern.
Chris, we had somebody that was doing those kind of things. Is that
Yeah,
person-
I talked to Charlie and he gave me one name, but that hasn't panned out, so.
Okay.
And I said, hey, have you got anybody? No! He apparently had challenges with it
Same
too.
Blurb to post on Facebook.
Yep. Our grader busted an axle last week, kind of by surprise, obviously.
Never a good thing.
What were they doing with it?
Grading.
Which road?
I don't know. I don't know. But it's off to the shop. That's gonna be a 5-figure solution, I'm afraid. We'll know soon. Last but not least, you have the last piece here, the MS 535, which is our kind of final financial report to go to DRA for tax rate setting. This provides the unassigned fund balance for that exercise, so we now know what those numbers are, and in your signature file, you can throw your Joan Hancock on that. This, with that signature page, will be done with our portion of the tax rate setting. All our stuff is in, the school stuff is all in.
Wow.
And so I think it's gonna move pretty quickly from here. You may be hearing from me this week on, either we get together, you're on the road, so we may be on the phone.
I think we did it
Yeah.
by phone last year.
Yep. The two numbers that you have yet to work with, and we can do this now or later, but the overlay, which is the amount we set aside for abatements.
I was gonna take that. We can do
that's not in
signatures.
here.
Yeah, I know. We can do signatures while we're talking about it.
Overlay, in the reval year, we have a bigger exposure for abatements, understandably.
Right.
We asked Avatar to recommend a number. They said 150,000 at least, which is considerably more than the 25,000 that we have been historically using. But with, it doesn't take many abatements
To add up to that.
to get to 150,000. And we also have the Fairpoint case still kind of floating out there. I don't imagine that would get solved and turn into a big abatement for us all in the same year, but that is still out there, and we
If
may
they
still have to
win,
do it.
then they get a big abatement?
Yeah.
If they win, they get a big abatement?
Yep.
If they don't win, then they owe us what's on the books?
Yep. That's a real short and oversimplified version of it, but yes.
That's the way I like it.
Yeah, and I suspect that if it becomes clear that one side or the other is going to win, there's going to be a settlement that stretches any solution out over some period of time. So that, I think the overlay risk is probably not that big, but it is out there, and we do have to think about that. So the recommendation from Avatar was 150, and Sue and I don't have any particular expertise in it, but it seems reasonable compared to what we've usually done, which is in the 20 to 25 range.
Do we have any history of what we've done, like back in 2010 or 2005?
I have to get out my,
I can dig it up.
yeah, I don't think I brought it with me.
Do we have to have that number tonight, or when?
No, when we set the tax rate, we'll have to set, that's one of the numbers we set, is overlay.
Right.
Can we
That's
see
very
what
important.
percentage versus normal that we did? I'm sure that real numbers is not gonna be the same.
I might
but
be able to tell
Yes,
you.
we'll look at it as a,
Is it-
what did you set aside, and then what did you actually eat for
is it-
abatements a year
Is
later?
it
That'd
six,
been
is it
2000.
6 times what we usually do, or is it?
Yeah, and the last reval was obviously much more contentious, and I don't,
So that's
Oh, God, I
probably,
guess it was.
probably a good
Right.
litmus test against that
Yeah.
one.
It just seems like such a big leap, 25.
6 times.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
lot. but, you know, you get 3 homes
Yeah.
at 50 grand.
Yep.
Yeah, we had 100 people come in or so and meet with Avatar that weren't happy with their initial
Yeah.
reassessment, so, you know, it doesn't take a big percentage of them at 10 grand apiece to.
How long does that process take to play out?
People can't even file for an abatement until the tax bill comes out,
Okay.
and then that, I think, has to finish by March,
Okay.
something in that range, so. And then there's, if it goes even further than that, it goes to BTLA or to court, then it's even longer.
Is that that's the maximum overlay right there?
That's a statutory limit, yeah, you
Okay, so
would.
where is the overlay?
Where did you dig this up? This is last year's.
No, it's 2005.
Where did you dig that up? It's a question.
Oh, there it is, 100,000, yeah.
2005 was 100,000, so, yeah.
So that's what the overlay was, but then the.
Yeah, we
other-
don't know, I couldn't tell you, we
Yeah.
wouldn't know until a year later what hit for abatements. and
Right,
then-
so if you can figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second variable for tax rate setting is the fund balance, and if you want to take anything out of the fund balance to reduce taxes. This, in there, the document you can sign tonight tells us that our unassigned fund balance is up to just under 1.3 million. At this point last year, it was just over $1 million, so we added about $250,000 in unassigned fund balance.
Didn't we have a target that we were trying, isn't there a target
Yeah, and we're
percentage?
very low on that.
Yeah, right, but where are we relative to that?
The recommended range is between 8 and 17%.
Yeah,
After last year's rate setting exercise, we were at 8.8 or 8.9% on that 8 to 17 range.
8 to 17.
Yeah,
And we're at eight.
Round
and we're at 8 and change.
numbers.
Huge range, I mean, come on.
Hey, if we were at 10,
If we, in doodling with it today, I think if we bank what we've,
yeah,
the excess revenues, that's really what that big change is coming from, the surprise revenues that we had. If we bank that, we're gonna be around 10%.
yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
For some reason, I
So-
seem to recall that we talked about 10% being a reasonable target last year.
Yeah,
So, we don't have the base number for that percentage calculation yet, so I can't give you a hard number, but it's gonna be around 10, the denominator.
We usually consider the impact on the tax rate before we kind of, we might have a target, but we consider the impact on the tax rate. We try to avoid peaks and valleys, so kind of keep it kind of flat. So we don't.
Well, with the rate's gonna move. We know the rate's gonna move because of the reval. We
I
just-
know.
We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know where.
there's other things that are gonna impact that rate moving too.
I think, my guess is that the rate goes down a little bit.
Okay.
The rate
Where-
goes
that's-
down because the values went up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tax rate stability doesn't mean anything. It's tax bill
Tax bill.
stability that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, well,
I-
that, yeah.
I don't know if tax bill stability is within reach with what you have in the fund balance. I don't know that yet. You know, to stay above 8%, you may not have enough in the bank to keep the tax bills flat. I don't know that yet.
Well, flat, I mean, we try to avoid peaks and valleys. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's always going this way. You know, there's no way to avoid that. But you don't want to go, you don't want to, you got a big fund balance, so you drop the tax rate one year, and then the following year, you don't have that much in the fund balance, and it goes up, and people say, what the heck happened? So you try to,
Yeah.
you know, just, and it inevitably goes up.
The fund balance does two things. It's most important for cash flow. You know, as our cash churn gets bigger, our need for cash, you know, liquid cash grows. We haven't done any cash flow analysis to tell you what that number ought to be. You'll remember a year ago, we were worried about cash flow as we were coming through the tax rate setting process. And
Oh, yeah.
you know, 10 or 20 grand there actually could have made could have made a difference on cash flow. You know, the numbers that we were looking at a year ago we were cutting it that close
Right.
to be where 10 or 20 mattered. So that's the first place that matters. The second place that matters is if you want to borrow. And the more,
In anticipation of taxes?
no, if you want to bond, if you want to bond anything,
Oh, yeah.
you know, as we come into CIP discussions, money's cheap right now. It's probably not a big factor, but it's an indicator of fiscal health.
It's about to get less cheap, though.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll get you that overlay history, and as soon as the part that's really not visible or clear to us exactly is where the school revenues and the state education tax and state education grant all comes through the DRA process. We're still trying to figure that out. So that's all going to come together relatively quickly. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you need a motion on the MS?
Nope.
No? Okay, do you need a motion?
You want to, you can sign
a
it.
petition on the poll license. We need a motion.
Yes, okay, so in your signature file is the MS 535, and there's also a poll license. You were gonna hear about, I think I mentioned this a meeting or two ago, you're gonna hear about poll licenses again. We are gonna revise that poll license to make sure we can capture any available taxes, almost no matter what happens with that Fairpoint case. We need to catch up with a lot of other towns in our language around those. This is the old language, it doesn't have what we're gonna move to. But if we sign this one now, we'll catch it as you come back to this in November without any issue.
Did you read that?
That may confuse things more forward.
I'm not kidding.
So signing this is what you've always done all along. We're gonna change some of that language in a month.
The poll license.
Yeah.
Did that clear things up for you?
Sure. So,
They usually make the motion at the top.
so,
Is there a motion there?
no.
Is that it down here? They usually give you what you want.
Who's Mitchell Muni Group?
That is the new attorney on the Fairpoint case. The old attorney that was representing that collection of dozens of towns that we're part of.
Just kind of changed this.
The group of towns moved to a new firm, Mitchell. Mitchell has taken on the Fairpoint case, and since this is right in their wheelhouse, it's the same topic, same subject, the same people working on the same thing. We went to Mitchell to help us with this piece rather than our other attorneys.
So why are there two copies here?
One stays with us and one goes back to the
So it's
utility.
the exact same.
So you only need one motion.
Yes.
So it's a petition and poll license for this one location at 8332 South Garland Road.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, I'll make a motion that Public Service Company of New Hampshire, DBA Eversource Energy, be granted a license to erect and maintain poles and structures with wires, cables, conduits, and devices thereon, together with sustaining, strengthening, and protecting fixtures in the public ways at 83/32S on Garland Road in the town of Nottingham.
I hear a second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yeah, what are we doing? What's the change?
There is no change, it's a new poll.
It's a new poll, so why do we have this email from some lawyer kind of directing us to do something?
To accept it the way it is right now.
But it starts with PSNH knows better than to submit this form with no taxing language, did they?
Yes, that's what we're going to change, is we're gonna add the taxing language in November. And in November, we will be looking back and changing everything that we have on file. So it's gonna capture this one as well as everything else we
So all
have.
licenses, requests that come forward
Right.
will be different. from
Yeah,
the one.
Yes.
the note from the attorney, unless you were part of the loop, is a little confusing.
And you-
So are we putting ourselves into a bad position by signing this?
No,
According to the lawyer, no.
According to the lawyer, no.
And in fact, we have to do it. according
Well,
to.
we don't have to do a damn thing. I mean, that's the thing I get is, I don't like it when I see something from a lawyer basically demanding, because they can recommend, but not demand.
I'm also curious as to why you just made the comment about we wouldn't know unless we were in the loop, and why we weren't in the loop before this.
Well, I guess I shouldn't have said it quite like that. It's a complicated issue.
We're smart people.
Yeah. And it happens every year, but it's kind of fresh in your, it's not as fresh in your mind and maybe does it have to be signed tonight? Do people?
No.
Do you need?
I'm not aware of any other loops.
Do you need?
I don't know.
I didn't mean it to sound quite like that.
So this should have come through with some statement about how it will be taxed. Is that what is the point?
That we are going to change all of our stuff to make sure that
Language is
language appears.
And will that language be retroactive?
Yes.
It will be retroactive?
Yes.
So there's no harm in us signing this now?
Right.
And what's the benefit of us signing this now?
Just keeping the paperwork moving for the utility. If there's probably a reason they need to put a pole there.
They're looking to put a pole somewhere.
Yep.
Is this?
Could be
it's
new
on-
construction, could
It's on
be.
Garland, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is one of many, many licenses that we've granted. It's exactly the same as all the other licenses.
That
This
we've
is-
done in the
this-
past, but
yes.
somebody's
And this is-
highlighting-
And this is just a poll, just one poll.
Yeah, I understand that.
What binds them to accept the new language, even though this is being signed
Yeah.
before the new language is being adopted?
You're gonna have a public hearing, and the reason it's taking so long to get to this public hearing is because they've been notified, they're being legally served notice of this public hearing, and your action.
We're gonna have a public hearing.
Yes, this body is gonna hold a public hearing and enact that change if you so choose.
With them
And,
sitting here.
well, we don't think they're gonna come, but we have to go through all this shenanigans to let them know that it's coming. And in that action, you will change the existing ones.
But what binds them
Yeah.
to that? That they answer that question.
It's
Retroactive binding, yeah.
the retroactive binding.
Does that have anything to do with the lawsuit?
No, we're doing it because of the lawsuit, but that binding does not come from the lawsuit. I will quote you something when I can look it up and show how that all, we've gone through that with the attorney, but I can't quote it for you as such, so.
If you're saying that this is the right thing to do, and that we will be able to retroactively go back and do whatever we need to do, then I'm okay.
Yes,
Okay,
we are.
And it is one poll.
it's one poll.
And if we don't do this, it may delay the process for whoever's waiting for this poll.
I'm okay.
In theory, there are,
I guess we should vote.
2,000 of these
True.
licenses
Well,
on
first of all,
file
did-
somewhere because we have polls all over town.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you second it?
I
You
did second it,
Okay.
and we
Yeah.
discussed
All
it.
in favor?
Aye.
Where there's like 6 signature lines, where do you want it?
Anywhere you can.
Town of Nottingham, but anything on that left-hand column is fine.
Left hand?
Yeah. It's
I got
made
the-
for a larger body than.
I got the
user.
bottom row.
I did the middle. So I think in the future, I know I would have preferred to have heard about this before and assumed that we're smart enough to consume information like this.
Well, when did all this come to light?
Oh, we've been working on setting up this public hearing for 3 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. When did this whole thing come to light? I mean,
This particular poll?
yeah, is this something, well, just to clarify, is this something that Mary knew about, or
Nope.
are you just as surprised as us?
The polls don't really surprise me, and this isn't any different than the way we've always done it.
Okay,
So
but
it's not but this,
this
the
particular,
changing-
this particular one, you're just seeing it tonight as well?
Right.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, this is the
No, I saw this for the first time tonight.
the same that's gone by you, I don't know how many times in the past. It's,
Yeah,
you
right.
know,
Yeah, I know that we've done them in the past, it's
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
Okay. How are we doing?
okay.
This, the MS 535 needs a signature, here's that.
Okay, thank you.
This is the document that requests the tax rate be set, right?
No,
Okay.
no, this is just filling the state in on what our year-end financials look like.
The towns,
The towns, yes.
town only.
Town only. This is one of the pieces that we have to have done in order to get to the rate-setting process.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
okay. All right.
Thank you.
There's no end to the paper pushing. And it's 7 o'clock. And we have a 7 o'clock appointment with Jim Robinson regarding paving Guile Road. Entree, Jim?
This chair, I'm gonna recuse myself from this conversation. Because he's talking about the street that I live on.
Oh, that's so true, you're right.
Do I sit? Do I stand?
Oh, no, sit right there,
But
dear.
I'll have comments as a citizen.
Oh, sure. Good to see you, Jim.
You too. This is what it is. Just want to do a little reading, like reading first.
Okay,
And then,
thank you.
Sure.
Did you, do you have signatures already on one?
yeah.
Oh, okay, so this is, okay.
that's just for you tonight.
Okay, we, the citizens of the town of Nottingham, petition and respectfully request that the town pave the remaining 1.5 miles of Guile Road, which extends from Route 152 to McCrillis within the town of Nottingham. We, the citizens, make this request in accordance with the town of Nottingham subdivision regulations as revised on July 8, 2015, in which Article 9, Section 7.1 outlines the town's regulations regarding the minimum construction standards that will be applied to any and all proposed streets and roads, and details that any and all of the town's proposed streets and roads must be designed and constructed so as to minimize dust, erosion, and runoff conditions that would have detrimental effect on abutting or neighboring properties. Furthermore, the citizens also present this request in consideration of the following reasons, which may improve aesthetics, reduce dust, and prevent the creation of washboards and washouts through erosion that ultimately costs residents a great deal of time and money on home and vehicle maintenance, accommodate safe access to the residential properties that may greater facilitate ease of access to school buses, U.S. mail and parcel delivery services, pedestrian, bicyclists, children, disabled, elderly, and emergency services, improve usability in the event of inclement weather, and ultimately reduce the likelihood of the road flooding while serving as an emergency throughway for Route 152. We, the undersigned, respectfully petition the Board of Selectmen to fully fund and order the paving of the remaining of 1.5 miles of Guile Road, which extends from Route 152 to McCrillis within the town of Nottingham, and make it the first priority for the 2016 road construction agenda. Very nice.
Huh?
Very nice.
A lot of writing. I don't know, I've never done this before, so I don't really even know which direction to go, but that was what I pretty much wanted to bring up, was I believe that, I think it would be a good idea to pave that road.
Okay.
I have other things that I looked up, a little research. Came across an article, The Dirty Truth, about dirty roads. It's health issues, health hazards for lungs, issues, road runoff. I have pictures, in case you're wondering. People always talk about how there's no dust on roads. This is actually after a rainstorm at my house. That's dirt running down the side of the road. This is actually, looks like a mud stream, this photograph, but,
Okay. Do you need these back?
no, you can have it.
Okay.
We also have this.
Well,
This
put that
is-
with the
I think
file.
it's too tall.
Careful with that
This
yellow
is
thing.
actually the truth story about dirty roads, something that the EPA put out.
So I'm trying to picture where this is from 152 to McCrillis.
If you were heading from here up to Route 4 on 152,
Yep.
you don't know where the dirt guile
Oh,
is?
right, okay. So it's
His house is
dirt.
right on the corner.
Okay. Oh, I know where your house is.
My shop's on the,
Right,
yeah,
right,
that
right,
road.
right,
Right,
okay.
That little
that whole
section
road,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
up to the intersection of McCrillis, and then it turns, there's tar guile, and then there's dirt guile,
Right.
Yeah.
and it changes at McCrillis
And
Road.
why has it been that way?
It's because it's always been that way.
Well,
Those are the questions I have. Why has it been that way? I was told originally that was because it was a scenic road.
Yeah.
I think that's baloney as far as I can tell, because there's a lot of scenic roads in town that's been maintained, been paved.
Is it a designated scenic road?
Yep. There's nothing that says that it can't be paved. It just says it can't, it has to be approved by the Board of Selectmen in order to do any construction, any maintenance at all on the road, which hasn't, which I don't believe you guys have ever had any records kept as far as what's been done on that road since I've moved here, which was in 1982.
We would have to have a discussion with our road agent, first of all. This isn't a decision we can make tonight.
No, I know that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've had the discussion with him already about it.
Okay,
He says the discussions has to happen with you guys, it doesn't have anything to do with him. So it gets passed back and forth, but that's the way it's been going on for the last 2 years, that's why I'm sitting here tonight.
okay. Well,
What it comes down to, what this whole thing started as, is that my shopping around the corner of the road is, it's an incredible dust storm every time someone comes rolling down the road. And at any given time, I have probably well over $100,000 worth of instruments in my showroom, not including my own, that get completely covered with dust. Every time the door swings, it just rolls in, and it's absolutely incredible. So it's a daily event having to clean everything. And recently, I've come to the conclusion that I've lost revenue because the instruments themselves get scratched during the cleaning process from the dirt, the dust, and whatever, and I'm just tired of losing money. It's hard to run a business in town, and it's hard to run a business anyways,
right,
without having one other thing that's drawing you backwards.
yeah, of all the businesses, that would be the most sensitive, I think, to dust.
Yeah.
Can you quantify that revenue loss?
Can I? I don't know how to, I wouldn't know how to begin with that one. Because what do? You buy an instrument, I buy an instrument retail for $10,000 and turn around at what theoretically would be a $20,000 sale, end up selling it for 15. How many times have that happened? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because it's scratched. It's not perfect. You know, it's just getting to the point where I just think it's crazy. It's an incredible amount of dust on that road. Way more than you would think that an average road would be.
Is there anyone that would like to speak to this in the audience?
Yes, I would.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Please identify yourself for the folks at home.
I didn't identify myself.
I did, I introduced you.
Okay.
So I'm Mark Carpenter. I live on Guile Road, and we lived there since 2007. Longer than we've ever lived anywhere else. I have very strong opinions on this topic, but to preserve the integrity of the process, I'm not going to tell you what my opinion is. Instead, I would like to give you my objective input of things that you might consider.
Okay.
Okay. Any decision should be made without affecting the total highway spend. So if you're going to make a decision, to me, it ought to be a priority rather than new spending. Except
I'm sorry, say that
Yeah,
again?
no, I didn't catch that either.
If you were to make a decision to do anything on that road, my recommendation would be that you do it in context of the overall CIP in a priority manner
So within the
within
existing
the existing budget.
budgets? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that you're not,
Yeah.
we don't have a spike in the budget, you know, prioritize this over something else, right?
Okay,
Except for the situation with encroachment on Jim's property that I understand has been resolved.
Been resolved.
I think that any decision should be made on these factors. First of all, safety. You've got school buses traversing that road back and forth every single day, and it's a dirt road. You have to weigh that compared to the potential of having speeders on a paved road. Because if you pave that way, there, you know, the likelihood of having speeders there is high. And
Can I
the
say
re-
something at this point of that?
Yeah,
I don't want to interrupt, but at the same time, I have an opinion about the speeders. Speeders are going to speed.
yeah.
I don't care if it's on a dirt road, paved road,
Yeah.
or grass road. Go ahead.
And you're right, and speeders do speed on Guile Road. My wife and I almost got taken out by somebody coming over a hill, a neighbor of ours coming over a hill when we were only here for 2 years, and he came over the hill and sliding sideways. And we almost
Ow.
were taken out. But, so you're right, speeders will speed. But you gotta weigh the school bus being on the dirt road versus on the paved road, a more controllable speed situation versus speeding on pavement. And the reason for that is Guile Road, and this is the other thing you gotta keep in mind, Guile Road is a contingency road for when 125 floods out. When you had the two floods here,
152.
there was two floods here, right? In the
152, not 125.
Yeah, 152, I'm sorry, 152. When 152 out here is flooded out, the only way to get from the northern part of town to the southern part of town was to go through Gala Road. So it ends up being a contingency path. So I would think that emergency management, fire department, they would want to weigh in, okay? Let's see. And then, let's see, so safety, Gala Road, okay. So the decision should not be based on wear and tear of residents' vehicles, or you know, in Jim's case, he's got a extenuating circumstance with his business, and he's got a big dust issue. But wear and tear on residents' vehicles should never be something, although there is a lot of wear and tear on the vehicles, every single one of us who bought on that road knew ahead of time that we were accepting that risk, right? And in fact, if you look at our tax rate cards, our properties are valued at 0.95 versus 1.00 because of the fact that we're on a dirt road. So there is some, you know, balancing of that. So wear and tear of vehicles, any residents that would complain about that who live on the road, I don't think that should come into play at all. So to me, your options are threefold. One is do nothing, right? The second one is schedule and prioritize it as part of the CIP. The third is you may look at paving just the end part of Gala Road here, that runs by Jimmy's house up into where the corner is. The reason I say that is that edge of Gala Road out there, especially in the springtime and in the wintertime, is susceptible to big ruts and collecting water, and it just becomes a real mess right out in front of his house.
Yeah.
And that's an area where people are turning. You know, there's a lot of times I'll take a turn and like, well, you know, because I got somebody climbing up my rear end. You know, it's like, you know, I hope the turn's going to be okay.
That would be no small project to tar that entire road.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, so
we all travel that.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I have a strong opinion one way or the other, but I'm not going to share that opinion. I just wanted you to know my views if I were to be sitting in your seats, okay?
We
And
can
again,
we can get a dollar figure from John pretty
Yeah.
quick, I think.
Right,
I was looking through the construction, the maintenance specs, as far as what's required, as far as gravel, amount of gravel for tar or whatever. And I think that he's far surpassed anything that would be required as far as gravel there. In some spaces, he's put in more than 5 and 6 feet of gravel. So I don't think there's a problem with having to redo the road in order to make it pavable. I think at this point, I think that part of the job is already done. That's basically what he told me. He says that part of it's already done. We've already done
The base.
the base part of it. The only thing that would be missing is drainage. And, you know, usually hot top, it'll drain off to the side as opposed to dirt that'll just soak into it and create mud. I got rained on. But anyway, those are my theories.
Okay.
And I did look up, I did find a article on the internet one day about vehicle maintenance. Is on average 30% higher on cars than people who live on dirt roads. 30% is a lot of maintenance. You know, I mean, it really, I mean, you're right. If you buy on a dirt road, then you gotta suck it up. But at the same time, like I was telling you before, is I've lived on that road since 1980. I bought it here in 1982, and
Oh,
that
so you've
road-
only been here a short while.
short while. That road, when I first moved here, was a dirt path with grass growing in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It isn't anything there what it is right today.
Yeah.
Now it's a super highway, and it's not even the same gravel. The road, what used to be there was actually packed dirt, and it was never dusty, until the last flood we had when they went through and put all new gravel in on that section of road. And since then, it's just nothing but a big dust storm.
it is much wider than it even was when we moved in.
I think this was a particularly dusty year. I know that myself. I live on a dirt road. And it was a particularly dusty year because we didn't have any rain for quite a while.
Yeah, but no, even
So it
last year-
exasperated.
yeah, it's not just this year, this is an ongoing thing. This is just finally coming to a head now because I've finally actually gotten to take a look and see what actually it's costing me.
Okay.
As a business owner.
Okay.
And I'm just to the point where headed up to here, pretty
Yeah.
much, so. I mean, like I even told John when I had a meeting with him the other day down there, we discussed options. I told him, I said, even if you can just pave up to where the trees start to grow, because at that point, the trees will block a lot of the dust that's blowing through. I'm totally happy with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. I just wish that they would do something,
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
all right? And this-
We'll definitely discuss this with John at our earliest potential, and that's supposed to save you from
Heating you
tripping.
up.
Do you want these?
Why don't you keep those for now?
We can take it.
Okay.
All right. Anytime I got reading that article about the dirt road, I just want to make sure there's nothing else.
You're gonna thank the other guy too?
Thank you both for coming tonight.
Anything else in here?
And your input is really important, and this isn't something that we're gonna just slough away, Jim. We'll talk with,
I hope not, because that's the reason why I came here. This is not my nature. I usually bitch outside.
yeah, I like that. I think that's better.
All right, well, thank you.
Good night.
Good night, Jim.
May resume.
You may come back now.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for coming in and visiting. Okay, so it's 7:15 on the dot.
Oh, my dot.
I'd like to open the public hearing on the parking ordinance. Okay. Excuse me. We've had several discussions on non-residents using the town beach. And at times, it's been documented that it has been a problem. And so the boards got together during our regular meetings and decided that perhaps we could help this situation resolve if we made it a rule that you had to have a town sticker on your car validating the fact that you're a resident of Nottingham in order to park down by the town beach. And that would be enforced, I think, by the police department. So that would take a lot of pressure off of the recreation department. So that's what this public hearing is about tonight. And do you want me to read the new parking ordinance?
Can we, when will we have a chance to have an open conversation about it?
I'm going to read it and then we'll do that.
Okay.
Well,
How's that?
technically, do you have to close the public hearing first? And then we have our comments
Yeah,
outside
do you have
of
to
the...
ask the public if they got any input?
Right, let
Well,
me read it.
No, but our comments are outside of the public hearing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me read it.
Okay.
Then I'll close the public hearing and then we'll
Sitting
have
room
our
only.
discussion. Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
there's someone, wait, do you see someone in the back? No?
This
No.
is ordinance 01-001. It was revised August 3rd, 2009, and this would be the second revision, October 5th, 2015. Town of Nottingham, an ordinance to prohibit parking on public ways where signs are erected. By virtue of the authority vested to the Board of Selectmen by New Hampshire RSA 265:68-72 and any other applicable statute under New Hampshire law, we, the members of the Board of Selectmen for the Town of Nottingham, enact the following regulation. Now therefore it be it resolved that the Town of Nottingham, through the Board of Selectmen, ordains that where signs are erected to prohibit parking, no parking will be allowed. Vehicles will be removed under conditions provided pursuant to RSA 262:31, 262:32, and 262:33, and said provisions will be adhered to for retention of possessed vehicles. Where signs are erected that designate permit parking only, no person shall stop or park a vehicle unless that vehicle displays a valid permit. The Board of Selectmen may define the location of such areas and the eligibility and fees for permits. Penalty: any person who violates said ordinance will be fined $25 for each parking violation ticket issued. Said parking violation ticket will be paid within 10 business days of issuance of said ticket. And then if we adopt it, it would be adopted by the Board of Selectmen. So, do I have any public comment before I close public comment? Hearing none, I will close public comment. Now, let me hear what the board has to say.
So I have two comments. One is, around the amount of the fine, is that a typical amount of fine? And what teeth do we have to ensure that the ticket gets paid?
It's the same fine that's been in place all along for the parking ordinance that we've had.
Okay.
And if it doesn't get paid, the district court is the mechanism. I mean, you can contest it in district court. We can, you know, it's just like any other ticket. It's a citation.
So we have really no recourse unless we want to go to court to,
No, I think we go right to DMV with it if it's not paid. I have to double check that, but
and DMV has some teeth to get it paid?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, hold up registration or something. There's a way.
Is the fine, a part of the regulation? Or is that something that we can set any amount that we?
You can set that. And we didn't change anything in this revision. That's what's been there for any other no parking zones
That's been a town number for how long?
since at least 2009.
Yeah, it hasn't been changed since then.
That may date to the posting of the Fundy launch.
Yeah.
That's the last time you dealt with this? I'm not sure.
Okay.
Now, we can change that tonight if we wanted to.
Can we, after a public hearing, or should the public hearing have reflected?
Would it have to be amended okay. you're
And then
right.
redo it, redo the
Yeah,
public
Have to
hearing?
redo the public hearing.
Yeah, if there's any amendments, yep. I mean, aside Scribner errors, we can fix those, but we
Yeah.
can't
Right.
change it. Okay,
Right.
good point. Okay,
So I just wanted to throw that out there, and then the other thing I want to throw out there is, it basically, the sign or whatever would say that it's for permit-only parking, but there's no indication that we would tow. And would we not tow?
Well, it says vehicles will be removed under conditions.
Where does it say that?
vehicles are
Third paragraph.
removed. I think it's 1, 2, third paragraph down, second sentence, vehicles will be removed under conditions provided pursuant to RSA 262. I assume
Okay.
that's towing.
I was sorry, I was looking at the motion.
Okay. Now, the reason I brought up the $25 fine, if we raise that, that would be for all parking
all parking,
violations. So I don't think it's probably wise to raise
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was just asking the question. I don't feel one way heavily or the other. I just would like whatever we end up posting there to have some teeth in it, you know, so that
It should
it's
say-
not just, I don't want it just to be a suggestion, you know what I mean? I want it, whatever sign is up there.
It should state a lot of what's in here.
Yeah,
Your vehicle will be towed, you will be fined.
I guess that's my question. Will the sign say, does permit parking only mean that we can tow? And if so, will the sign say that we reserve the right, well, that, you know, you're subject to towing?
The second paragraph, I mean, the
Where
fourth
signs are
paragraph.
erected to prohibit parking, no parking.
Where
will be
signs are
allowed.
erected to prohibit parking, no parking will be allowed. Vehicles will be removed under conditions provided in, where signs are erected that designate
But this
permit
is-
parking only. No person shall stop or park a vehicle unless that vehicle displays a valid permit. The Board of Selectmen may define the location of such areas. Any
So is there a
person who
difference
violates said-
between,
That's a good question.
permit parking only and prohibited parking?
Yes.
That's what I was, thought I was.
No parking is no parking.
Right, and you're
Permit.
gonna tow in that case, right? But in the case where signs are erected that designate permit parking only, no person shall stop or park a vehicle unless that vehicle displays a valid permit. The Board of Selectmen may define the location of such areas and the eligibility and fees for permits. But it doesn't say that if somebody is parked in a permit parking only, that they can be subject to towing. Because
Yeah, I think
that,
that's true, but they are subject to the $25 fine. I don't think we have to, we can
I'm reading it
adopt this
right.
tonight and see how it goes.
You could probably go either way, but that's the safest reading of it, yes.
So the beach would be permit-only parking, which means tickets will be handed out, but no one would be towed.
Right. Unless we find it.
If you were to designate the beach as permit parking only, then
Yes.
and in all likelihood, I don't think we get into the business of towing down there. I think
Right.
we're trying to discourage a behavior that took 20 years to develop. I don't know that we need to be that draconian about it. I think this may be enough
I don't think so.
to, well, we'll find out. I mean, if we're-
I think, you know, given, especially, by the way, let's thank Janet for the day that she spent collecting
It
data,
was a couple of days, I think.
right? And she said, 40% of the cars that came in were not from town. And so to me, if you say, well, it's permit parking only, really, I don't think that gets the message across. I think if the sign says it's permit parking only, violators will be towed at the owner's expense, like everybody else puts on their signs, then I think you get the message across and you'll start changing behavior. Anything short of that, and I think that people are gonna go, well, okay, I got a permit, well, just go do it.
Yeah, $25, that's not bad for the day. Yeah, but anyway, we have a hand in the audience.
Just a comment, you can't necessarily go by license plates because you have property owners in town who live and register their vehicles in other states. So just because it's a Massachusetts plate or a Connecticut plate
I
or
didn't say-
somewhere else doesn't mean that they don't own property and don't have the right to use the beach.
Even though they don't have a permit.
Even though they don't have a
They
sticker?
should have a permit, correct, they should be getting their permit, but I think a lot of the complaints that we heard were that people are, oh, they're from Massachusetts or whatever, well, they own property here, they have the right to use it.
Of
So you're
course,
suggesting we don't
course
want
it
to err on the side of towing
Yeah.
someone who has an out-of-state license plate but is a resident of the town and they just don't have the permit?
and
I
they
think that-
just have not gotten a sticker.
I think the first paragraph where it says where signs are erected to prohibit parking, no parking will be allowed. I think in those that's a kind of a safety issue, and they've got to tow those cars.
Right,
Now, the
right.
second one is just to kind of limit the beach to just town residents, and I think this is a good start.
Am I the only hard ass in this room?
Yeah.
You know what's going on?
I think it's a good start as
Yeah.
well, right? And let's see if it has an impact. And if it doesn't, then we have to take more
We'll
drastic
have
measures.
another public hearing and strengthen it.
Yeah, if we're talking about the beach specifically, I think the odds are just as good that we tow somebody from town who doesn't have a sticker as they are we tow
And boy, are
somebody
they gonna be mad.
from,
Yeah.
Lawrence that found their way to the town beach.
Yeah.
I think we've done nothing other than put a sign at the gate for 20 years that says, if you don't live here, don't come here.
Yeah.
That's been the extent of our enforcement. This is, if you assign permit, but we're skipping ahead to
This
the
is
beach, but.
ratcheting it up, yeah.
Can we at least design the sign so that kind of hints
Like
that
mean,
it's not
really
a
mean
good idea to
sign.
be here? I mean, I'm just thinking of this sign that says permit parking only, and like, oh, okay.
But there's a $25
I mean-
fee.
No, don't put $25, just put there's a fine.
Okay.
And they'll think it's bigger.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
If you go
Okay.
into Hampton, right? If you go into Hampton and you park, and it says violators will be towed. Right? If you pay the
Because
And that
Hampton is very dependent on that revenue to survive.
I understand, but there's a bigger point here.
And it's worth $25 to park at the beach for a
Yeah,
day, so.
but there's a bigger
it's
point
a whole
here.
different-
The bigger point is, we want to change behavior, and, we saw a lot of things on Facebook talking about a lot of people that from out of town and out of state that aren't residents, and we certainly don't want to expose any of our residents to,
Do you want to?
Things that might happen.
Do you want to propose an amendment, put this down for another public hearing?
I don't know. Al, what do you think?
I'm willing to try it at this.
All right,
You
so
know,
if you,
try it, see how many tickets we hand out next year,
yeah,
see how many complaints we get, see who it is.
ask our Facebook followers to to let us know?
Yeah.
Or, not our, we don't have Facebook followers. Ask the people on All Nottingham to let us know
Yeah,
what they're seeing.
yeah.
That's fine.
We
don't wanna
we
be-
don't have an unlimited enforcement resource here either,
I
so.
understand, I understand,
Yeah.
I understand.
So.
I can't imagine the,
Still think it's, well, maybe when we make the sign, somebody could show me what the sign says and
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
put some skull and crossbones on the damn thing or something, you know? I mean, we'll do something, you know?
Okay,
So,
do I have a motion?
so it looks like we need two motions here, right? One to adopt the ordinance, and then the second is to, okay. So I will make a motion that we adopt the new ordinance to prohibit parking on public ways where signs are erected, as read by the chairman.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Should we say effective immediately?
Yeah, it's effective on signing.
Yep, that's part of the motion. Okay, Dawn?
Okay?
And you have a second motion?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen hereby designate the Town Beach Access Road and parking area as permit parking only, and that all vehicles must display a current Nottingham Municipal Services sticker or be subject to ticketing.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, ma'am.
I got all sorts of thoughts for that sign.
Well, why don't you send some over to Chris?
You can share the committee
Yeah.
on the sign for the,
Yeah. Okay, so.
All sorts of
At the public-
graphics.
It'll
let
meet,
me-
it'll meet daily for 3 weeks, right?
Okay, the public hearing is closed. It was, well, the public comment was. Now I'm closing the public hearing.
No, you closed the,
moving along.
We're done.
Just in case.
We're done.
Okay, now, public hearing and the beach parking, that took care of that. Recycling center hours. I'm cool.
Once again, a nice piece of work by the team at the recycling center to track what they could.
so walk us through this, Chris, please.
Well, we have summer hours, which are essentially shifting the Thursday hours into the evening. So we're open later from 11, we're open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for some portion of the year on Thursday. It allows people that don't want to burn up their weekend to go to the recycling center, they want to jump out in the evening, make a quick whatever. I can't figure out the exact methodology of how we got to the dates that we're using to start and end that season.
Yeah.
That's.
I think there was always, at any given point, there was a reason for the dates that that were picked, but I don't know what they were. There is always some confusion around the transitions. People don't know that the change has happened, and they maybe go Thursday morning and find that they can't go there Thursday morning, or, they, any change like that in the routine, it confuses people, so.
Sure.
And what we're also seeing, we started out counting people because the guys up at the center were like, it's dead on Thursday nights, why are we here?
So these are all Thursday night dates.
Those are Thursday night counts.
2 hours. It's for 2 hours.
For a 2-hour window, the incremental, the shift hours. And anecdotally, as well as with what we have here, we see that it ramps up on Thursday nights, and then it cools off in the fall, where we're back to not a whole lot of business. What I would like to do is shorten the season of summer hours and peg it to something, I don't care what, but just try and get it into the mindset that it's always
When's the first day of spring?
March.
Is it really?
First.
So that's too early.
Just something that people can remember
Why
forever.
don't you do it Cinco de Mayo or May Day? May 1st, May Day.
May Day
I like that.
to
May Day to Labor, what is it, Labor or Memorial Day that's in September?
Labor.
Labor.
May Day to Labor Day.
May Day to Labor Day.
or May through September.
Well, they're saying,
Well, it looks like September
Yeah, we
3rd.
drop off. It's
So September 3rd is 15.
There's 15, you're still,
and it's a late
I like
Labor Day
Labor Day.
year.
Yeah.
It's a late Labor Day year
Some
this
years
year,
it's gonna
so.
be, some years it's gonna be.
So
Labor Day
late.
is
so the
usually-
3rd is
Labor Day
a
is
summer
usually-
weekend.
Labor
Summer.
Day is usually the first week of September,
Oh,
right?
it can move around a lot.
Monday.
Yes, this is, the third, the number on the 3rd you have here is the Thursday before Labor Day this year.
Yeah, so you have to stay,
It's gotta be at least Labor Day.
I think you'd go right after Labor Day you shift, based on what I'm seeing here, but it's only the first time through.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I like that. From May 1st to Labor Day weekend. How's that? Whenever, and that's gonna move around. Labor Day moves around. Sometimes it's on the 12th.
It would be
of
nice if we could just
September.
print it and forget it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that, I like the idea of, you know, attaching it to dates that people can easily remember.
Right.
I'm just a little concerned about whether or not Labor Day is like 2 weeks,
Soon.
2 weeks too early, you know?
When?
Yeah, because there's the summer, the late summer can stretch out and.
It
we're
can
going-
sometimes be the 12th of September, and sometimes it's up as
So
far as-
we're going summer hours until November 11th?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, see, that's way too late.
that's too late.
Yeah,
Now, do
but-
you think Columbus Day is too late?
When is Columbus Day?
Well, so like now
October
it's
11th.
next Monday,
October 11 or
but it's
12.
dark
already.
already.
Why
So
don't
I
you do
think
it-
it's somewhere between Labor Day and Columbus Day.
That feels like what it ought to be, but I don't care, I just.
Okay,
want-
May 1st to October 1st.
Yeah, May 1st to September 30th or October 1st or whatever,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That'd be fine.
yeah.
Or if May through September, so if the Thursday falls on October 1st, it's
Yeah.
winter hours.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
May through September.
May through September.
Yeah,
May through September, I like
yeah,
it.
that's fine. That's fine.
Love it.
May, June, July, August, September. 5
This
months.
will not take effect this year. We're published for this year. We're not gonna change anything midstream, so, as logical as that may seem when it's pitch dark over there right now, I don't wanna change anything this year, because we're
can't. Yeah.
posted. and-
Yeah.
Okay.
We're a month away from it anyway.
So
May
that
through
took care of
September.
that. May through
Did
September.
the other selectmen see the article that Kathy Sinfo wrote? Did you all see the article that Kathy Sinfo wrote about? the
Oh, no.
Storage shed?
No?
No.
Can you share that with them?
Yes, I have an early draft of it, but,
I think
Yes.
your comments are what she's accepted. I think I made one little typo thing.
Now, is this the recycling shed?
Yeah, she wrote it's a really good article about the intent of the shed and the fact that it's supposed to be volunteered and what's actually showing up in it and the fact that it's degrading and Chris did a good job of modifying it slightly so that it ends up being a call to action to ask people to help out versus the 3 people or 2 people that are doing it all now.
Now, how are we gonna, this isn't anything the Board of Selectmen is involved in. Is it going to be put into the newsletter?
She was gonna put it in the newsletter.
Okay.
But I think it'd be good for,
Yeah, I was just
you
gonna
all
say, when is the next
to know,
newsletter?
to see
The
it.
10th.
No,
It's too late?
it's too late, it was last Friday.
Oh, I thought it was the 10th.
yeah, she's in.
Okay, she's in?
Oh, she's in,
Yeah.
okay.
But you all should see
Yep.
it so that you're not surprised.
Okay.
I'm just saying, we had this whole big thing about the recycling committee a year ago or 2 years ago. 2 years. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's gone.
Time is just flying by, and there are people that have continued to beat the drum, and it's a nice thing to see, and I'm just, I was really happy. I mean, she just kind of did this on her own. We had the conversation at a Board of Selectmen meeting a month ago, and then 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, all of a sudden, there's an email that says, hey, this is what I'm gonna put in, can you
Very
take a look at it?
excellent. Yeah.
So, thank you,
Yeah,
Kathy.
our calls for volunteers have been, I don't think they've produced anything
Met
yet.
with crickets,
Yeah.
We have crickets volunteer?
Okay.
yeah.
Can they do the work? I don't know.
But Joan spends a couple hours, like every Saturday or every Friday,
God bless them.
in there. And the stuff that's showing up is really, it's nasty.
Isn't that too bad?
It's nasty.
No kidding. When we were talking about the workers that, the help that we need around the town buildings, I was thinking, do you want to put a little want ad in our newsletter? We've missed it this time, but,
Yeah, if it comes to that, yeah.
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 okay. Alrighty. Sale of town property.
That didn't happen today as was expected, so we will pick that up again next time.
Okay. Oh, the other thing that we might want to talk about was the town website. Do you want to do any discussion on that? Or is it
Just considering an upgrade. Mark's got a contract. Donna, you haven't had a chance to look at it probably.
I wrote on it.
We don't have to act on it tonight. I just kind of wanted to chat with you about.
Did you send this out?
Nope, just walked in with it.
I haven't seen it until tonight.
Can you send it out to us?
Yep.
Are we going to be going through virtual town hall still?
Yes.
That will still be our vendor?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any potential of having videos on demand?
Yes, we are testing.
Are we
Out
already?
there, no, it's out there.
It's up now and it worked. Yeah. The school board puts their meetings on YouTube. And since they're an educational institution, they get access to that for free.
Cool.
They have generously helped us latch onto that. So we are also now up with our video for free.
So is it a school board channel, or is it?
It's like a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's a YouTube, I'm not
So if I-
fluent in
if I-
YouTube.
If I
but-
YouTube Nottingham,
Yep.
New Hampshire,
Selectmen, I think it's
You should
Yeah.
get it.
keywords.
we're a selectmen meeting, August 11th.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
So
wait
we're
a minute.
gonna let that,
No, that's Townsend, Massachusetts.
Nottingham
we're gonna
is
go
in
through that a few times and check our internal technological stuff and make sure it looks like it's really working before we brag about.
Okay.
You can watch the movies on, watch the thing on YouTube.
Honey, pop the popcorn.
So far, so good, but,
Can you send us the link?
Yeah.
Good.
So if you search for Nottingham Selectmen, you don't find it?
No.
Nottingham NH?
I always get Nottingham, England. If you don't put NH
Townsend.
in, boy.
Townsend, Massachusetts comes up.
Good,
Townsend,
Dawn.
Massachusetts.
Dawn, good job getting that going.
Yeah, thank you. So anything in non-public?
no.
Very cool. Anything the board has to throw in the pile before we adjourn?
Nope.
Not for me.
Okay. You're okay?
I'm good.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, folks. Have a wonderful evening.
I put